You're listening to Currently Mikey with Rocc. I'm here with my girl Bella. She's filling in for Rocc, y'all. And we're continuing our amazing show, okay? We have a very special guest in the house right now, Mr. G Smalls. What's going on, G?
What's up, Mikey? What's up, Bella?
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Look at
How you doing?
Bringing us all this joy and good cheer. And
You have a
just
great
blessing us.
energy.
He
Thank
does.
you. I just try to spread some love, you know.
My first time meeting him was when we did A Connection TV. Shout out to Chris Jr., y'all, because he let me fill in for him that day. And I was like, I've seen him before. I was like, yo, that's G. You know what I mean? And you just came in, you so happy. You was like, okay, y'all, this is what we doing. You know,
What we doing? I had a good time, though.
Let's get it. It was good. And he had some very important points. He's a very intelligent dude. How did you become, like, such a personable person? Like, everybody isn't an extrovert.
You know what? I don't think I'm an extrovert either, believe it or
don't?
not. No, it takes me a lot to be around people. It seems like the older I get, it takes me a lot to be around people. But I don't consider myself an extrovert, but when I am around people, I'm good with talking to people, relating to people, and
So you're introvert, extrovert.
yeah,
That's
you
the
know,
thing, you know.
that's what I am, but I'm very curious.
Okay.
So I'm a very curious person. And some people call that nosy. I'm a very nosy person.
When's your birthday?
And so March 24th.
Oh,
Yeah.
everyone, okay.
Aries, yeah. So I'm very curious. So I ask a lot of questions, and people always, when you show interest in people, people always open up because they like to talk about themselves. And I like to find out about people. And so I ask a lot of questions, and that make people feel loved because I'm interested.
One of the things I really like that you do is that you have a show, you and your husband do. Your show is with your husband, Juan Sessions.
Yep.
So
It's Juan Smalls. We don't use session anymore. It's
You
Juan
do-
Smalls.
okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
he dropped that session. It's Smalls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
shout out to Juan, by the way. I'm sure
Yeah,
he's
shout out to
listening.
Juan.
Yeah.
So you two do a show together. How is that being a couple and working together? And y'all work together on so many different platforms because it's not just a show. It's the organization that you founded, the Gentleman's Foundation. Is a lot of different charitable organizations, different movements and stuff. You guys kind of are a movement yourself.
Yeah.
You're a very popular couple. Like, how do you do all of that?
Well, it was very exciting at first, and then it got rough. But we've been working together since 2011. We started an event production company, and that's really where it started. And we decided to do the Gentleman's Ball, and then it kind of all started from there, and all of these things started happening. But we used to try to separate work and relationship, but you really can't do it. We work together. If we get mad at work, then we're gonna be mad at home too. You know what I'm saying? So, we just talk about whatever we're feeling. And I think we've learned each other enough to know when let's not fuck with each other right now. He's being bothered, whatever the case may
You go to
be.
your corner,
right?
go to my corner.
Yeah, and then doing what we do, you also just have. I think naturally there's going to be some balance you have to play. Sometimes you got to fall back some.
That's
just
right.
like in a loving relationship, when you're in business, you're trying to run a business together. Sometimes you have to fall back and let him do what he needs to do. Sometimes he fall back and let me do what I need to do. But I think we kind of figured out those dynamics. And then once we were able to release our egos and thinking that we both know everything, because we still men and we still want to, this is the right way to do it. We both Aries. And so that's another
Lord.
thing.
Oh.
And so
Two rams, hand button,
Right.
just hand button.
when we were able to get comfortable in what we were good at and trust each other and what they were good at,
Okay.
then it works better. So I love it. I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a a testament to something that a lot of us aspire to do.
Yep, he's my
be able to
work
with our
husband and
people.
he's at my home husband.
We got it both.
Right.
Okay. Well, tell us something about you that most people don't know, that they would be surprised to know.
Oh my gosh.
Because you're so public, yeah.
I just posted this on my Facebook page like yesterday. Like, I love to listen to classical music.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
What kind?
Especially, I don't know the names. I just put my little Beethoven radio on and it plays. And it's because especially while I work, because I get distracted really easily. Like sometimes I don't understand how people can listen to music while they work because
So
I'll
on the
start
way
singing
over
a song.
Here, you're listening to classical music.
No, on the way over here, I probably using the car. I don't listen to anything.
Really?
I don't. I'm always just thinking when I'm in the car. I barely listen to anything unless it's in the mornings, and I'll listen to the radio because they're talking. Like to listen to talk. So
Yeah, me
I'll
too.
listen to talk.
Yeah. I'll listen to them with little Ricky Smiley,
Yeah.
little V103 sometimes.
Hilarious.
Yeah, let's shout that out. It's pretty cool. So one of the things I like that you do is that you bring people on your show and y'all talk about different topics and stuff. You have some pretty interesting people. You've had Trip Ali, and you recently had a couple I saw on there. One of them was actually here today. And your show can get pretty heated. Like, how do you deal with that as a host? The different elements that come along, good and bad, with having certain guests on your show.
Right. Well, I think that it's important people are passionate about what they're passionate about, right? And so I'm also a life and relationship coach.
You are?
And so I'm used to getting with heated situations, especially with couples. But I think that it's just a matter of letting people express themselves and respect each other. So I don't think that we've ever had a situation where anybody got disrespectful with anyone. But sometimes there might be times we need to pause and let people compose themselves, and so we just let people do that and have their time. So it's just no pressure. We try to create a very loving environment and comfortable environment so people can come in and feel like they're being respected and taken care of. So
that's pretty dope.
Yeah,
I think that's really interesting. I know one of the things I have to deal with, as a host or whatnot, is just trying to keep the situation contained and keep it salient to the moment. Because a lot of times when people are talking, they can get off subject and it starts to go this way, and I really need it right there. Yeah. So that's one thing I always have to be cognizant of. And I think that you being a life coach is really interesting because a lot of people don't really know the difference between a therapist and a life coach. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So a life coach typically takes goals that a person is working towards, whether that be to get a new job, to lose weight, to start a business, or they can have goals within their relationship or personal life. I want to figure out why I keep attracting the same person, or I want to figure out why I keep having these problems in our relationship. And so what I do, and what a life coach does, is that we observe and we listen. And we help ask the right questions to get the answers out of people that they already have, and we keep them on track. A therapist reaches us back in the past. We deal with future goals and so forth, but therapist reaches back in the past. They might be dealing with depression or emotional issues or trauma and things of that nature, and that's something that life coach does not do. We just help people get towards their goals, and pretty much we're accountability partners, we're motivators, and we give people, at least I know I do, I'm very passionate about helping people learn about themselves and become self-aware. And so when I see certain patterns and I'm listening, then I just ask certain questions to help people really ask themselves, because a lot of times we don't know what to ask ourselves. But if we just ask the question, most of the time we find out the answers within ourselves, or at least we think about it. You know what I mean? And that you become more aware, and you just start to learn yourself better. So you can reach those goals. And so that's how I like to describe the services that we offer. And my husband is also a life and relationship coach.
That's really dope. Well, let me ask you something. So, what would you say to someone who's never been in a relationship, and they're at a certain age? Like, say there was something like 33, they've never been in a relationship. What would your advice be to them? They really want to be in one, but they've never been in one.
I can't say that I would have any advice. I mean, I guess the first thing you have to ask the question. Okay. So if they've been trying to have a relationship and they're wondering why they're not in a relationship, then I would start to ask myself that, start to explore they had to have some type of relation, right? So that probably means that they went out on dates and it's not working. And so I would try to ask more questions about their patterns, about things that would happen on their dates, when they are talking to people, what are they feeling? And I would go from there. But I mean, there's no blanket advice that I can just say, oh, you've never been in a relationship, then this is the problem. I would just have to find more about that person and what their patterns and behaviors are.
Okay, that's dope. That's a pretty good assessment.
I feel, and I will say this, I feel in a general rule, I always tell people in finding love, if you become more curious about yourself, then the universe, and I'm very strong on the universe and the power of attraction and God putting people in your life that's supposed to be there, right? And so I feel like if you remain curious about yourself, because life is about learning about yourself, and really that's what relationships are about. You meet people to help you grow and to learn about yourself. And, the goal is to find that person that's going to continue to teach you that for the rest of your life so you can be with them. But if you continuously remain curious about yourself, the universe will bring genuine relationships to you to help you learn about yourself. And so you will always maintain intentional and genuine connections versus just having kiki and cocktails with people. And so if you focus on having those genuine connections, then If that's your lifelong partner, then great. If it's not, I've had a genuine connection. It was an intentional connection, and I'm learning about myself in the process.
Awesome. What is something that you want people to know? Like give me a word of inspiration you want to leave the audience with.
Oh my Jesus! A word of inspiration. I'm gonna just go back to what I just said, because my tagline is self-awareness is key, and I just really encourage people to always remain curious about themselves and continuously become self-aware. Because if you're not, then I feel like we're just going through the motions. I mean, what are you doing if you're truly not digging into yourself and trying to learn more about yourself? So, I mean, that's the best I can offer. I mean, because I feel like when you're that curious about yourself and you're trying to remain self-aware, everything else falls in place. You become better in every way possible.
Awesome.
Your energy and your vibes are.
Thank you.
I just want to say
I don't want to leave. I'm like sucking it up.
AF. Goals AF.
Thank you. That means goals as fuck, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know you could cuss on the radio. I've been
Wait a minute now.
I'm super good.
Oh, okay.
Good as fuck. Let me say my cuss word.
I'm used to going on the radio shows where they be cussing like hell.
Right.
So.
Oh my goodness.
I cuss like a silent.
G, how can everybody follow you on social media?
So at G Smalls, that's GEE Smalls, like Biggie Smalls, on all platforms, and you can also follow my husband and I at Juan and G on all platforms.
Cute.
Awesome.
Cute
Very
or
cool.
whatever.
Very cool. All right, y'all. Well, that's going to conclude our show for tonight, y'all. We have had an amazing experience. We had Anthony Bond call in, director and CEO of Bond TV. I had G come in, life coach, philanthropist, relationship advisor. You just kind of do a little bit of everything. And, of course, Bella, you came through. And that is awesome. Thank you. You are amazing. Y'all, this is our first time on radio. And she over here co-hosting and stuff. She gonna be like, look, I'm a radio show chick. You know what I mean? Of course, I'm your boy, Mikey. Shout out to Rocc. He couldn't be here tonight. But thank y'all for tuning in to Currently Mikey with Rocc. We have coming up next, the Last Call Show with Chris June. One of my favorite boys, y'all. We're about to get all metaphysical and very ethereal with you. Chris gonna take y'all out tonight, okay? Put y'all into New Valentine's Day. Check out his show that's debuting tomorrow. Cheaters Never Win, okay? Remember, you're listening to Currently Mikey with Rocc. I'm Mikey, and I'll catch y'all next week when I have two people from Signal 23 coming through. Henderson Maddox and Davian Harless. It's going to be quite a show. Stay tuned.